I'm excited to jump into today's topics. And I'm also really enjoying this three-way. I know we did it at the beginning of the year, and then the feedback was epic, so we did it again, but I'm liking it.
The people want us all.
Yeah.
I think we
That's it.
balance each other out.
Well, I think the three of us in many ways are quite different, so then you're getting
Yeah.
different perspectives, and the
Yeah.
roles are very different.
Yeah.
Before we jump in, we're about to move office, and we're building a new podcast kind of studio, which would be awesome.
That's
Because I find these podcasts actually pretty hard because Andre, he's got to talk to the person in the middle. Like, you might go off mic. So
Yeah, I'm trying to like stay like this, talk like this. I'm
Yeah.
like one of those commentators. Like,
But
ice
anyway, exciting times. Going to move office.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Might do a
Yeah.
bit of a behind the scenes video reel on Instagram pretty soon. So
That's cool
If you don't
idea.
follow us, go on Instagram.
There you go. Got our own little project happening.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, today, excited for us to dive into marketing is sales in advance. That's a topic that,
That's a
Whoa.
good topic.
What's
yeah.
that?
Well. It's something that often comes up. It comes up the workshops. I think it's a lot of guys have an epiphany when they realize that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of builders we talk to, and this is just me talking to builders every day, sales is a big challenge for them.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of emphasis on sales, and then they can sometimes become a bit buckled under that. I'm not a salesperson, I don't know what to say, and
Yeah, they think sales is like this dirty word, and
yeah,
it's because people don't like being sold to. But yeah, like when you talk to builders, JP, like when it comes to not just sales, but like what's a big problem that you see builders that do not see marketing and sales in advanced? What do you see?
well, something I think that's pretty timeless for builders, and maybe it's just because of the generations that have come before builders, the younger builders today, but definitely all builders, is just referrals. I think for a lot of guys, that's how it's always been, or when you're starting out.
So they just rely on referrals.
Yeah, rely on referrals, and that can get you some guys. And that's the thing. It's like every builder you talk to, they know someone, or they know of someone who has done referral, has just stuck to referrals, and has gone on to be just 10 levels ahead of them. That does happen. It's just very few and far between.
Yeah, referrals are amazing. Like, I don't diss referrals at all. I think the problem that we found with our business with referrals is that it's a hit and miss. So someone might refer you, and then it's like a bad referral, and then you feel awkward because you're like, your friend has literally just referred their friend
Yeah.
to you, and you got to do good by them, and it's not really a good fit.
Yeah, I had someone actually this morning reach out to me and say, "Oh, so and so from this business said I need to talk to you," and it was like, "Oh man, I'm really grateful, and I'm looking forward to talking to them because maybe we can help them, and that's always a good approach." I think we encourage a lot of our guys, even if you get a lead or an inquiry that comes in, and you're thinking it's not perfect, engage with it. Have a chat with them. Maybe they're just naive,
Yeah.
and they're missing things. But this morning's referral to us is a referral who was originally from another referral who was from, so it's becomes so distant, it's a little outside our niche. So we'll see how that conversation goes. But yeah, relying on referrals I think is a big challenge that we hear a lot of builders facing, and it can cap out at a
And the
point.
problem is when those builders are only relying on referrals, they might only have a small number of opportunities in their pipeline,
Yeah.
and they are doing everything they can to get one of those opportunities, and which is great. Like, I think you should be proactive about getting those projects. The problem I see though is because you only have a few opportunities and they were all referral, those opportunities, those prospects might be looking at other builders as well. And now all of a sudden that puts you in a position of competing. You're the one, you're not the prize anymore. The client is the prize.
Yeah, I think also this is something I've heard from many builders' mouths, is that we've been relying on referrals when I ask them about where their work's coming from, and then they'll follow it with, from friends and family, and they'll say, I've just run out of friends to build for, or especially for, let's say, younger builders, let's say in their late 20s, early 30s, their circle of friends and social circles might not have $500,000, $2 million upwards of there to do these big projects that these guys are capable of doing and want to do. And so you got to put yourself out a little wider. But can you break down for the listeners just more of that marketing and sales in advance? What does that mean? Some people don't.
Yeah,
like
I guess,
really layman's terms, if you can.
Yeah, I guess to break down and maybe give it some context before we get into the 3 topics for today. Marketing is sales in advance, and that thought belief really flips everything on its head. And in an ideal world, what marketing looks like when you look at sales, it's the prospects, they need to know as much as possible about you, your business, the process, the journey that you're going to go on. A lot of their fears need to be taken care of, right, before you even talk. So a lot of the content, marketing, everything they are consuming has got to overcome some of those fears. It's got to overcome a lot of the objections that they might have before they even come to you. Because by the time they come to you and then they bring up the objections, this will drag out the whole sales process even more. And really, the main goal for marketing and sales in advance, it should position you as the expert, right? So it should position you in a way where the prospect only came to you. They didn't go look at other builders. They are, in their mind, their frame of mind is, I hope this builder takes me on as a client. Now, there's another topic there called supply and demand and everything else like that. That's a different story.
Yep.
We've done podcasts on that. You've got to get that supply and demand balance right. But that, at the end of the day, they need to see you as the expert. So a lot of your marketing should do that. They are coming for you. You are the authority. You're the guide taking them on this journey, and most of their questions that they might have are already answered by the time they come to you. So that's kind of like just a little bit of a breakdown of what marketing is when you look at it as marketing, sales in advance.
One thing I maybe want to add to that, I just thought of then while you were talking, a lot of builders will say to me, once I can get the person in front of me, or once I can have a conversation with them, I've got them. And it's like, awesome. So everything that occurs there, building rapport, body language, the vibe you give off, the relationship you begin to form, the educating that you're doing, the asking of the questions, the dealing with concerns, all of that is fantastic. And if you're good at that, awesome. But essentially marketing, being marketing, sales in advance, that concept is taking that which you were able to achieve there and going, well, why can't you achieve that? So let's say automatically or on autopilot with marketing out there, and you just get to run your business. And when that person turns up, that's already been achieved, that which you were achieving in those first few meetings.
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that as a builder?
Well, it cuts down time.
Hugely time.
And also you fast track seeing if a prospect is actually an ideal fit by the client.
So cutting down time spent trying to build a relationship.
Yeah.
And also
traveling to site.
Yeah.
See if it's actually worthwhile.
And just sifting through, if you're having to sift through bad quality prospective clients, if that's all done ahead of time, and it's done really well, the right people will hang around because it resonates. And the people who go, well, this isn't what I'm looking for, I'm just looking for someone to give me a price, well, they should jump off the wagon.
Yeah. I guess one thing to obviously take in mind is it's like a very high ticket.
What's that, like builders?
Like high ticket for builders, like people are doing their life savings sometimes.
Yeah.
It's something that they've been like
builders' clients investing.
Yeah, investing, and it's been thinking for years about it and dreaming about it.
It's not just a
it's
short
not a quick
decision.
decision. No,
it's not
not.
an impulse decision.
Yeah.
So I think this is why this podcast is so important for builders. That and not just this podcast, but taking action on this, implementing this in your business. It's huge.
Yeah.
We've seen this multiple times, And the cool thing is, once you start on this journey of marketing and sales in advance, it snowballs. So every time you do something, it picks up momentum.
Yeah.
But we will be discussing a lot of this momentum in the 3 topics.
All right, let's
I don't
jump
know if we
into
should go jump in.
I want to understand a bit more on that.
Yeah.
Like I really want that emphasis of like what's marketing, it's like sales in advance, like that whole.
Yeah.
What would you have in mind in terms of topic 1 or subject 1 in this?
Topic 1 is builders, and really this comes back down to another problem that builders have, and that is builders don't know what to say in their marketing. They don't know what to show in their marketing. They are reading a lot of different things, a lot of things that have not really been tried and tested. But when it comes down to it, at the core root level, is that it's about understanding your client. So,
And when you say understanding your client, what do you mean by that?
a lot of builders, they don't know what to say. They don't know what to communicate in their marketing. So they go brainstorm. Oh, we can say this and we can say this, and we've been running the business for this long, or just all these surface level
We
things.
really focus on quality,
time.
and like our team are just really nice and they're
Yeah.
clean on site.
Yeah, they're always saying that. And the thing I always try and say is, and we've done this in multiple podcasts, is instead of trying to figure out what to say, just understand and talk about the stuff that your ideal clients need to know, what they want to hear, what their desires are, what their pain points are. So instead of you trying to talk at the market, it is understanding what the market wants to hear or what they need to hear.
So it's asking those the right questions
Yeah, kind
to
of.
understand, okay, what do they want? And then what's the things holding them back from getting to that?
Yeah. I mean, the easiest way is to literally jump on the phone or catch up with like 3+ clients, right? And asking questions like, before you went down this path of renovation or new home, what prompted you to even look at the whole thing? So before you even looked at builders, right? Understand what their pain points were.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. Sometimes you think you know what that seed, that starting point would be. But yeah, when you ask your clients, it's completely different. We do this quite a lot with our clients. I catch up over Zoom with them and really understand this. And then ask questions like, okay, well, so then you had this idea of renovating. What prompted you to start looking at, builders? Not just go buy a place or whatever. Like, you just want to dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And then, okay, so now you've decided, I want to get a builder. What made you look at us? How did you find us? And then when you found us, what did you experience? How did we overcome what were some of your fears? And then, how do we overcome those fears? What were some of your objections? If you had to stop building it or not even go along with the whole process, what would those things have been? Once you got in contact with us, what if there's anything that was going to stop you from moving ahead, what would that have been? So you just dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you're having this conversation with these people and you're getting data that you can actually use as part of your marketing.
I think very often when you come back to the original piece of this
Topic.
being not knowing what to market, yeah, that's a big one. So often I'll talk to builders and they haven't posted anything perhaps, or put something out there for a year, or a couple of weeks or months. They just don't know what to post. And when they do post, it's like, it's a finished home, and then it just says finished home.
Yeah, and also a lot of on-site stuff.
A lot of on-site stuff.
I mean, from a non-builder perspective, like my perspective, like we're doing a few things at our home at the moment. It's not nice. Like you're living in there are multiple days or weeks where things are not in place, right? Things are broken down or whatever, right? And our office now, like the new office as well, like we're getting it fit out. Like it's not a sexy thing. Like the process of building and, it's dirty. It's not sexy. So
Yeah, this is something that we often comes up in conversation with us, because we get asked by builders for our ideas and stuff, or some of our builders, we're now working with them and taking care of their organic socials, and that is, what to post. But when it comes to, because so many builders, they like posting the stuff that's under construction, because it's cool to them, and they get the
and
likes
it's easy
from trades
because
and
that's
stuff.
that's what they do every day.
Yeah.
So they are there on site. They can.
And they also look at it and go, oh, that's really cool, because we had to do that to make that work, and we had to get something in there, we had to hold, But the average Joe has no idea. So
Yeah.
to them, it just looks unfinished.
It's
It
like
looks-
us posting about cameras. We never do that.
Yeah.
We love cameras. We nerd
Yeah.
out about cameras, but
So just to kind of go with that. So once you've talked to 3 clients,
Yeah.
for example, you've really dug deep, different levels, what
Yeah.
they want, what's their problems. What do you do then with that data? Like how do you then use that data in your marketing?
I mean, what we normally help our clients with is we do a lot of this in-story development, a lot of different exercises and things, and then at the end, then there's a lot of data. There's pages and pages and pages, and then we try and get it down to a 1-page focus, so that our client can pick that up and go, cool, these are my ideal clients. This is their their main problem, these are some of their other problems, this is what they desire, and then everything you do from there onwards should fit with that. So what I mean is like your marketing, the things you say in the sales process, it's got to like fit that. So we help them get clear on that one-page focus. But then, from there, you've got to market your business and in all different channels where your clients are. It's no use spreading your message on Twitter or the newspaper, like the physical newspaper, if your clients are not there. You've got to think about where are they? Like, where are they spending a lot of their time? Where is their attention at that moment? And then how can you put your message that they need to hear in front of, like, in their attention?
Exactly.
So that's another podcast for another day on like all the different methods of marketing to, get this message across. But this is the first step. It's the root. A lot of people go, I need to market my business. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to do video. I'm going to do site signage. They think from it again like this. I'm going to talk to the market instead of going with the market first and go, where are they? What do they need to know?
Yeah.
And go from there.
Absolutely.
So that's topic one.
What did you have in mind for topic 2 or section 2 of today's podcast?
The topic 2, and we kind of just said it before in a way, the public or people out there, people that want to build, they tend to not trust the building industry. There are fears around it. What if this builder will go bust, or what if this builder's gonna do a run on me or whatever, right? There's a lot of distrust there. And
one thing I've noticed with that is, like, maybe just because we've been working in this industry now for a while, helping builders, and we've become so close to our builders, it really grinds me when I hear someone outside the industry, let's say family, friend or acquaintance, make some bad remark towards the building industry. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, like you have no idea.
True.
You have no idea how hard these guys work.
Yeah.
And the risk
and the risk
Yeah.
and the extent to which a lot of them go to bring an amazing outcome for their client.
Yeah.
And I only wish that you had just spoken to one of them rather than whoever you dealt with.
Yeah, and it's like Chinese whispers, right? They just heard it
too.
from somewhere else, and it's just got this bad rap. But I mean, go drive around. Like, most people like live in homes, right? Like, live in a dwelling. Like, those dwellings were built by a builder. Like, it's such a big part of life, I think people take it for granted. So and I guess to help with this, and what we've seen work really well in the past is the builders that understand that is the perception that the public has or prospects have. They utilize the power of storytelling to really build that trust. So it's a big way to, again, increase this marketing sales in advance to like build this trust. A huge problem I see a lot of the time, especially with builders, is it might be because they are super busy or they don't believe in this woo-woo kind of like story thing, which I totally get, right? It is a huge one, but they discount this whole like the power of storytelling. Like, how would you ease a builder's mind when it comes to this?
Well, I think a big thing is, maybe before I answer the question, is like, if we unpack just what is story, like very, very simply. I know JP has mentioned this before. Like, JP, how do you explain to builders normally what is story? Just to kind of dumb it down, and then...
The easiest way, I think, some guys do it quite naturally. They'll just tell a story. So if someone...
Like in their sales process, whatever.
Yeah, probably a good example is the sales process. So if a builder a client asks a question or says something, and the builder can see, there's a concern there, that they've asked that question. Therefore, this comes back to knowing your clients really well. If they're saying this, it's a good chance that they have this concern or they have this false belief. And so knowing that means, rather than just answering it straight, which is only going to tick that little box that client has, it's not going to give them any greater context and a greater understanding. A great way to go around that and to overcome and achieve more is to tell a story.
Yeah, literally a story of someone else that had that same concern.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, and then ideally, again, back to knowing your audience, when you tell that story, the person listening to that, if they're your ideal sort of client and fit, and you're telling a story of an ideal client, they should naturally just follow along with that story and almost subconsciously just place themselves in that story and then see and feel what it's like to have gone through that and reached the outcome.
That's hard. That's so good. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, the way builders can do this, especially in terms of marketing, and the third topic we're going to go into now will debunk a lot of this, but yeah, the type of stories that you can do as a builder is definitely around past clients, like telling their story. So not a testimonial video about how good this company was.
Just to jump onto JP's topic there, the reason why you don't just, if there's a concern coming up in a sales process and not just giving them straight information, is that people struggle to receive information sometimes. And the best way to receive information is actually through story. And then even better, if you've got an example of someone else that they relate to, then they seamlessly receive that information, process the information, and like you said, they get to that outcome. And your question before, Kunai, was about like, just rephrase that question again.
What should builders, when they look at storytelling, especially the ones that think it's woo-woo or whatever, how do you help them overcome that and utilize the power of storytelling in their business?
It kind of goes back to what you said at the start of the podcast. It's understanding like where do they want to go and what's their problems and their false beliefs, i.e. objections. Because once you understand that, you can start creating stories of each one. So let's say an objection is for a builder that, oh man, like, what if I design something now and then I'm like, I change my mind or something happens and now suddenly I can't go back and now I've just got to go with this design that we've got.
Yeah, so the problem there is basically they don't move forward until they're like 100% ready on this design. And whereas the builder knows that we could change, we could probably evolve along the way.
Yeah, we can find a solution around it. So what the builder might do is he'll use a story of an example previously with another couple that's similar to this, say, couple, and go, cool, yeah, this, Jan and Bob, they were building their house and planning it and everything, and then suddenly that same thing happened where they weren't sure if it was the right plans, etc. And then you kind of tell the story of how they overcame that, and then
that builds so much trust and just makes them feel at ease.
Yeah, makes them feel at ease.
So I mean, another big part of storytelling, I like visuals, especially like when we talk about video now, and utilizing your story through video and client stories and so on. A huge side are like the visuals. Yeah. So what visuals, like the story team at this video, like what do we focus on? What do we capture in terms of visuals? Because it's not just about capturing for the sake of it. There's psychology behind it.
That's right.
So what kind of visuals do we normally capture?
So when it comes to deciding on those visuals, we generally go on like who are we targeting? So if it's a specific builder, they do a certain type of build in a certain area, we go, cool, who's their clientele? So we've got to understand who their clientele is, because then we can start going, cool, okay, what do we need to show?
Like what's important to that clientele?
Yeah, like what's important to that clientele. So let's say...
What? What's an example?
Let's say here on the Gold Coast, and it might be like down in Burleigh. Someone, doing maybe like $1 million renovation or something. And to them, important thing is now lifestyle. So living on the Gold Coast, they love going to coffee shops. They love having a yard. They got a dog. They got all these different things.
Beach.
So things that are important to their lifestyle. Yeah, markets, exactly. And so then what we do is we kind of really focus on that lifestyle aspect, showing those little details, things like a person really loving coffee in the morning when they brew their coffee, or when they take their dog, get the leash, take their dog to the beach. Those little details, because a similar other person, when they watch the story and they see these things, they will straight away go, man, that's so me. Yeah. You're talking to me. Yeah.
And the funny thing is we're not even showing building.
No, we're not showing building. And that's why lifestyle is like, it's just, the more we get in this game, the more we go on with builders. We're just like, man, this is the stuff that changes lives.
And even some of the nuanced things like that I've seen in terms of like the visuals that we capture is like, even just the smiling, laughing faces on family. Yep. Not the fake stuff, but actually having a good time.
Authentic. The biggest thing you can do is authentic. Where you lose engagement and people going and not connecting to something is because they didn't see it as authentic. So
looks like stock footage.
Everything we do is very, very authentic. And it's from the heart, because people can sense it. They can feel it through the story. And obviously that's how we guide our clients through all that to make it happen.
I mean, I've had builders tell me this, right? That a prospective client would approach them and say, I watched a story and I was in tears.
Yeah.
Like
It resonated
tears of
with
joy.
me.
And like, that's what I want. That's what I need.
We've even had
And we're not even talking about building here.
no, and we've even had builders talk about the other builder video stories they've seen. They're like, man, I would want that guy to build for us.
Multiple times.
Multiple
Yeah.
times.
And often it's like things that, again, this feedback we hear from our builders is when a prospect reaches out, and they get to know each other and the project goes ahead, and the project or the client then begins to sort of open up about some of the key things that influence their decision. It's not to do with the building. It's not to do with the beautiful aesthetics that they saw of a past project or anything like that. Definitely not with pictures of things under construction. But that's something. And funny enough, we know that. That's why we're very good at what we do. But it is funny how often that comes up in conversation when either someone will say, "Oh, I don't want to capture this and this," or "There's no need for that," or and yeah, it's just like, well, yeah, I find that funny.
And there's always going to be like specific people that don't think they need to show that lifestyle side. For example, and there's always ways around it. There's ways we can go around that. If you're more of a private person, that's fine. There's ways around showcasing that and building the trust.
Yeah, we've done it for multiple buildings.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We've done it in terms of like privacy. Some builders don't want to really have their family shot,
Yeah.
and I can respect that. And so yeah, we've worked with them to create amazing stories. There's been, I know one client of ours, one of our builders did a case study on a client, and due for safety and privacy, they weren't allowed. We had to make sure that no one could place where that project was, or who was necessarily.
Who is the person?
Who was the person? And anyways, and it was amazing. Like you watch it and you feel so in depth with this story and this like family centric focus, and then only afterwards I remember having a chat with him and he goes, "Man, you guys crushed it! Like the client was so happy with it," and it's like, wow. But I remember reading the whole things like we can't have this and this, and we achieved that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. So on to topic number 3, and a big problem that I see is that builders are busy, right? If you're a business owner, you're running a building business, you have a million things happening. It's non-stop. You could literally just work 24/7 if you weren't disciplined enough to go home, right? So how do we use marketing to really build that presence in our business, build that trust, and really fast track that sales process if we're already busy, right? So this is where the power of leverage comes in, and using digital and technology as leverage. So for those that don't know, I don't know if you can see my logo here on my shirt. You can check it out on our website or wherever. It's the icon represents what we call the fishy effect. What is the fishy effect, Andre? Like if you had to
Biggest
sum it
thing
up.
is like if you look at the tail of the fishy, the amount of input versus the output being a lot more. So
Yeah.
the investment, the return on investment a lot more, and then everything you put in from like a marketing, from a sales perspective, the effort that you put into it needs to be 10 times.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So essentially it's an input-output thing. So for whatever time, money you put in,
Yeah.
the output should be very big.
It should be a multiple. It shouldn't just be a doubling or anything like that. It should be a multiple.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now, if you've done topics 1 and 2, like you're clear on your kind of like your audience and you're using story, now leverage that story through technology, right? Site signage and everything's good, like cool. I mean, you might be building on 2 different streets. One is a cul-de-sac, another one is on, let's say, a major road. The impressions are going to be different, right? More people will drive by the main road, they'll keep seeing it. But again, what do they see? They see building. They might associate building with something negative, dirty, not sexy. The cul-de-sac one, probably just that street might see it. The kids walking down and playing in the end of the street. So site signage, like I don't diss it. I think every builder should do it anyway. But when I talk about leverage, it's really about leveraging your story and the message that you're putting out there through technology. While you sleep, get it running, right?
Essentially looking at what technology is available, what platforms are available to take this message that's right now with me, it's with one person, and how do I get it in front of a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, on that point, right, a lot of builders might have tried this before and they feel like they haven't had the result that they were looking for, you know.
Yeah.
But chances are that they didn't go through the right steps, like number one, knowing who your ideal clients are, what they're all about, using a great story. But then number three, like I would argue that, yeah, even if they did do some paid advertising or whatever and they feel like they didn't get a result, it was still amazing because, look, if people don't know about your business, they can't do business with you. So at the end of the day,
It's better than nothing.
it's better than nothing. But yeah, there are definitely better ways of doing things. Again, like this podcast, like listen to topic 1 and 2. So yeah, but you've got to remember, like, it's the same with us. If you're listening or watching this podcast right now, it's because you know about us. If you didn't know about us, you wouldn't have been listening to this podcast. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're a client of ours, there's no way you would be a client if we didn't made ourselves known to you. So that's
But
what builders have to think
But
about.
also just you look at the technology we're using for this, one, to capture it, two, to get it out there and get in front of more people. I mean, you imagine it'd be pretty challenging if you looked at the amount of people who would be listening to this, imagine each of them.
And it's
trying
ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah. And it just more and more people listen to it,
Yeah.
listen to it twice, 3 times. But imagine all of those people trying to reach out and have a conversation and gather this information from us as individuals. How many times would we have to regurgitate it, which would be exhausting, to try and organise meetings with all of us, at least together, let alone separately? It just doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not efficient at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in...
No.
It's like gravity, like, right? It's a universal law. The universal law is you cannot achieve the same amount of messaging, education, trust building through like one-on-one as opposed to something like this. It's a universal law.
I like with the topics there today, I like how they flow, because one is like knowing your audience, and then using story, but then it's about leveraging and getting that story out there, because you might have a really good story, a really good experience that you took a client through, but who knows about that other than that client? And maybe the handful of people that client knows or tells about their experience with you. Again,
And
it goes back to
as time
referral.
goes on, that dilutes, right?
Yeah, they get busy, life moves on, they might even move out of the house one day.
Yeah,
Then that's
and
gone.
it's an old topic. You don't talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
Anything new, you talk about it.
Yeah.
So you want to keep that new in front of people.
Yeah, that's a big one. I know we are big with our guys and encouraging them is, it comes back to when's the best time to market? When you're busy.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday, 10 years ago.
Second best time when you're not busy.
Capture that story now when you can. Once it's like you've had that experience with the client, they've loved it, capture that story now.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the rest of your career to use that story.
And honestly, it doesn't matter how much it costs you, like money-wise, to capture that story. The leverage and the result and the value that you will get from that story long-term far outweighs whatever you pay for it.
100%. And you get even more value from it when you leverage it.
Yeah.
Because we've had some builders who'll say, man, means so much to me, this story, because this journey I took the client on was a huge milestone for this team, huge achievement. And so even if no one sees it, it means everything to them.
Yeah.
And it reminds them of why they get up in the morning. So there's a huge amount of value. But then go back to the leverage is, if you leverage it, well, then the market's going to see it.
Yeah.
And so how do you leverage it?
Well, yeah, I've got a few quick little ideas because we've got to finish this podcast. We do have a bit of a wrap up, some ideas there as well. But yeah, I guess for builders, you've got to establish a strong kind of like presence organically. I don't think that's a secret anymore. You've got to have a presence on Instagram and Facebook, because that's where most likely your audience will be. There are like different, times, and you've got to tell that story organically as well. The second thing is paid advertising. Again, like get your business known. Paid advertising is the best vehicle right now to get your business known, because you pay for that privilege, but you get that attention. People know about you, especially if you did topics 1 and 2 real well. Yeah, and then what you want to do is you want to be able to not just get that awareness to that audience. You actually want to capture that awareness. You want to capture that audience into something like an email list, as a prospect of some kind.
Why's that? Why
All
would
right.
you want to do that?
Well, I was listening to this. Well, because as time goes on, the people that you get their attention, time goes on, you want to keep their attention. So one way you can do that is through paid ads, but now you've got a little bit less control because you can't really tell like Facebook and Instagram to keep showing yourself to these people. You can through retargeting and so on, but there's a chance that they will fall off that list and then you can't keep on top of them and educate them. So that's why you want them in your email list to keep telling that story, keep communicating to them until they are ready. Mm-hmm. You've got to assume that they might not be ready for the next few years, right? And I was listening to this podcast the other day and the guy said it really well. He was explaining what a lead is. And I'll remember this. I'll quickly say this because I wrote it down. Remember, a lead is where someone signals that they want to do business with you. Okay, they might want to do business with you now, or they might want to do business with you in 5 years. That is what a lead is.
That is a very important distinction and definition to make.
Yeah.
That's something I know we spend a lot of time helping our guys understand. Because one builder talks about leads, the next guy talks about leads, and it can mean two different things.
Yeah.
And that's how we treat it here: is someone that has shown interest, and we have stages in which we help our guys get that interest. You know, you're going to have a larger group is going to be the one that says, "Hey, I really like what I saw. I'm interested to know more. Maybe I'm not ready to talk right now because I don't have enough information, or maybe I'm not ready.
Yeah.
My situation is 2 weeks away, or 2 months away, or 2 years away from working with you."
Yeah, you've got to look at it as a signal. So if, let's say, your ads are running or you post something organically and someone likes that post, that is like a little signal, like just like putting my hand up, like, yeah, that's cool. Little signal, that's a lead.
Yeah.
Whereas like on the other side, a lead is someone that inquires with you and goes, "You're the builder of choice.
Where
Let's
can
do
I
this."
sign? Yeah.
So there's a very big spectrum there that you have to remember.
And that group of people who've said, "I like what I see, but maybe I'm not ready to talk," is far larger.
Yes.
So there's huge opportunity
Massive
there.
opportunity.
And so then it's about, well, what are you doing with that? Once someone says that signal and goes, "I kind of like what I see here," from a distance maybe, what are you doing with that?
Yeah.
And what are you doing to make the most of that opportunity?
Yeah, and sometimes you might not even know what that signal. You might not even know that person.
Yeah.
The signal might just be them looking at something that they see of yours and them thinking to themselves, "I like this. I like this builder." There's no way of you knowing that. But yeah, you're right. You've got to keep nurturing those people as well.
Yeah. I mean, a real maybe simple example, I'm not sure if this will work, but imagine if you were to go to a expo and someone walks past and just looks at you from a distance, looks at your stall and moves on. That's them giving you a signal. But I mean, that environment,
You're not going to walk up.
you can't walk up to them, you can't chase them, they don't want to be chased, but they like what they saw. And maybe had they walked past that stall in a year's time, they would have walked up to you. Whereas there's technologies, back to topic 3, which is leveraging, where someone can do that, and there's a way in which we can go, you know what, let's remain friends and let's talk in a year.
Let's stay front in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, in conclusion, marketing, sales, and advance. I just want to quickly run through what builders should be aiming for. Again, by the time people come to you as part of your sales process, when you actually start talking to that prospect, they need to know as much as possible of you, your business, the process, the journey that you're going to guide them on. Their fears need to be taken care of as much as possible. As many objections that they might have at this stage need to be taken care of, so you don't have to handle them again. They really need to see you as the expert. They're coming for you. You are the prize. They want you as that builder. They don't want anyone else. You are the authority asking the questions. They're not necessarily asking the questions to you because you've overcome their fears and objections already through the education and the marketing and everything you've done. And yeah, most of their questions are answered, but you are the builder of choice. So yeah, that's kind of like my little conclusion for today's episode. So yeah, Andre, I might give this one to you, but like as a last thought, if builders want to know more, what can they do?
Well, we've just launched our new ebook, and you can actually download it below the link below.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it's not just an ebook, it's not just a PDF, it's an audiobook as well. Because we know a lot, like if you're listening or watching this, you're probably driving or whatever. we know a lot of our builder clients do that. So,
Perfect.
yeah, JP has offered his amazing voice to be the voice of the audiobook. So you'll get another, I don't know, a couple of hours with JP. So go get your copy now.
Also, with those 3 topics, I think they're just really good today. So thank you for bringing those, Corne. But yeah, if you guys want help when it comes to understanding their niche better and getting clear on that, or how to tell stories, which stories to tell, or ideas around leveraging, any of those, all of those, reach out or come to a workshop where we discuss a lot of that as well.